Mary Stuart, the queen beheaded for her carnal attraction. From the moment Mary Stuart took the throne of Scotland, finding a suitable husband became a national emergency. The country needed an heir, of course, but the real danger was the beautiful Mary herself. She had something charming that made men fall for her and was involved in many love affairs. A lord was beheaded for violating her chastity. A soldier's lewd notes were intercepted at court. A poet often hid in her bedroom, hoping to declare his love. He was also executed. Not to mention that the restless queen was always on the verge of compromising herself. Suitable proposals came, but Mary's untamed heart made another choice. Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, her first cousin, was the most vigorous and well-made man she had ever seen. Wasn't that a good reason to marry him? Blinded by her instincts, Mary was unable to see reality. To everyone at court, it was crystal clear. Darnley was a handsome brute, far from the wise consort she would have been. But to Mary, life as queen was a fairy tale, in which Darnley was the prince. Her advisors trembled as Mary threw herself completely at his will. Time and again, she proved that she had learned nothing about men with all her experience. She was doomed to let her heart rule, and for this she would pay with her life. Mary Stuart was the daughter of James V of Scotland and a member of the French royal family, Marie de Guise. Promised as a child to the future King Francis I, Mary grew up at the court of France. Unfortunately, her young husband died just a year after ascending the throne. Mary returned to Scotland as queen, or at least in her role. She lacked political acumen, although she enjoyed ruling. As a descendant of King Henry VIII, she believed in her right to rule England. This way of thinking directly conflicted with that of Henry's daughter, Queen Elizabeth, Mary's Protestant cousin. This story is one of the most macabre in history. A few months after marrying Lord Darnley, Mary realized the mistake she had made. When her eyes were able to see the truth, she began to direct her affections towards other men at court. Mary had always been a loving person. She wanted to eliminate her husband, especially after he brutally murdered her Italian secretary. Edinburgh was rocked by an explosion, after which Darnley was found dead. The Earl of Bothwell is said to have been the initiator of this plot. How did all this machinations end? The dethroned queen escaped and reached the English shores, seeking refuge, which was not a very wise idea on her part. Elizabeth had her imprisoned for 19 years. Mary's charm and sweet voice bewitched even the jailers. Elizabeth refused to meet Mary, fearing her magnetism. In the countless strategies to bring Catholics back to the throne of England, Mary was the key element. Elizabeth beheaded her cousin after her involvement in the Babington plot. Mary's son with Darnley became Elizabeth's heir, King James VI. Living among false friends, she came to make serious mistakes in her judgment of men, wrote one observer. Mary was at first aloof, then suddenly ardent toward Darnley. But how could she have missed his vanity and his penchant for violence? Mary was a hopeless romantic, a sentimentalist, a proverbial sucker when it came to love. Once the queen had felt the thrill of carnal pleasures, she began to see everything in rosy tones.